Rabid anti-vaxxers are now jumping on mainstream media posts about completely unrelated things, blaming the vaccine for deaths that have absolutely nothing to do with the vaccine itself or any evidence within the stories that the vaccine is related, and it's got to stop. So let me give you a little bit of context. Last week, an acquaintance of mine, somebody who I know in passing from Kafir, passed away in a water-related incident, which made national news. Like, it was on the TVNZ website, Facebook page for what had happened, and the story itself was very brief. Essentially, that there had been an incident where somebody had passed away in the water in Kafir, and I had two big issues with the story itself. The first, they didn't use a photo of Kafir. This is a photo of the beach that they're talking about, and it's definitely not the photo that they used in the story. Kafir has black sand. This is a white sand beach that they're using in the story. But the second thing that I really took issue at was the fact that when this story came out, it got hijacked by anti-vaxxers blaming this as a vaccine reaction. And there is no evidence anywhere that says that this is what actually happened. It's not even mentioned in the story as having anything to do with the vaccine. The vaccine doesn't pop up at all in the story. This was a tragic accident at the water, and news outlets are really careful when they mention incidents in the water because they just don't know what the cause of the issue is. Now, having worked in open water before and dealt with swimmers, there's a range of things that could happen that could lead to somebody passing away in the water. Right? It could be anything. It could be a drowning. It could be a heart attack out in the water. It could even be something like an extreme allergic reaction to a jellyfish sting. It's not a pleasant thing either way, and the outcome is always the same. Somebody has passed away, and that is deeply tragic. It's not the sort of thing, though, that screams this is vaccine related. And that's what's really starting to piss me off about all this, because it hasn't just happened to this one person that I know from Kafir. It's happened to a lot of people. In fact, a story today about a drowning in Whangamata, exactly the same thing. Jumped on by anti-vaxxers, and there's no mention on there, but as soon as somebody dies in a mysterious circumstance that isn't exactly detailed there in the news story, it's suddenly caused to believe the vaccine has caused this. And that's ghoulish. Like, that is absolutely horrifying to think that that's how some people believe that the vaccine works. If you don't know exactly how someone died, it's got to be the vaccine. And that's just nasty. So what can you do about these horrible, ghoulish fiends that are sitting there trying to make somebody's tragic death their own issue? There's actually only 3 steps that you can do. The first is to block them. Then you don't have to put up with their bullshit, you don't have to listen to their negativity, it doesn't affect you anymore. And that is actually a really good way of looking after yourself and your own mental health when it comes to the kind of negativity and doom scrolling that comes into play. The second thing that you can do is report them to the social media platform itself. Now, some platforms are better than others. Facebook, for example, is a cesspit, and it is terrible, and it quite often doesn't come back with the reaction that you want because they don't feel that it is breaching whatever their guidelines are for the day. The third thing that you can do is when you see these things pop up on a news site, tag the news site in there explaining why you're offended by it. So this does a couple of different things. First of all, it shows to the person who made the comment that you're offended by that comment. But secondly, by tagging the company that puts it up there, you're giving a summons essentially to the social media coordinator, so they get a notification going, oh, and they can check it out. When you're dealing with a large media site and you've got social media coordinators sort of handling everything, they get a lot of notifications every day, and it's really easy to fall through the grate. So making sure that you tag them and continue to tag them until they work out what it is that they're doing or that they respond, then you're going to find that you get reactions and get outcomes that are better for you. That's really the only things you can do. That or stay off social media. It's awful. It really is awful. Right, that's me done for this episode. I think I should probably finish by sending out my condolences to the family and whānau. They know who they are. I don't even know if they watch, to be honest. But it's tragic what happened out there, and it's really hard for anybody to have to cope with the aftermath of something like that. And I'm really sorry that people have tried to hijack what should be a very important moment for a family. So let's make sure it doesn't happen again. Until next time, everybody, ka kite anō, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.